and thank you for joining us for another week of On the Couch with Kimberly. I am your host, Kimberly Rose, and I'm here with your co-host, Miss Kenya Mays.
Hi, audience.
Okay, thank you for joining us again. We have a lot of topics we want to cover tonight. Some really interesting stories to share with you, and we look forward to getting your feedback on some of these things. We want to hear your ideas, share some of your stories with us. First, I'd like to really start with an apology to one of my callers, a young lady that called in on a previous show about 2 weeks ago. She was 12 years old, and she wanted to ask me what should she do as far as her relationship. And I'm not sure, she didn't say specifically whether she was talking about a sexual relationship or not, but I think I kind of dismissed her because she was so young and she was 12 years old. Well, I'm a mother and fully aware that, young people are starting to have relationships at a young age. I shouldn't even say starting to. This has been going on since the beginning of time. Exactly. So, and as a matter of fact, I probably wasn't that much older than her myself. So I do apologize. And honey, if you are watching, please feel free to call in again. I do want to give you some advice, though. If you are in need of someone to talk to about it and you don't feel like your mom is a person that you can talk to about it, find anyone, a teacher, your auntie. You can always go to free clinics.
Yeah.
They have counselors there and people that will talk to you, and they even give out contraceptives. So that's an idea, too. So feel free to call me again. And keep on watching. I really appreciate it. Yes, okay. Well, first, Kenya, did you have anything you want to start off with, or should I start with some hot topics?
I think I'll start because I really want to talk about one of the things I read, and I try to pick up the different papers because I do like to read, and I picked up the Richmond Voice, and I read an article, and it's actually about a new bill that's being passed, and it's the actual Innocence Reform Bill, and it's the House bill, and what it actually does is, for once, we have a bill that's trying to help people and keep people out of the system. It'll actually change the standard for Virginia defendants that they must, as far as what they have to do to satisfy and prove innocence. The new law makes it easier to bring new evidence and prove innocence even beyond the 21 days after the conviction. And the bill, written by Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli, amends Virginia's writ of actual innocence law to change the standards that defendants must satisfy to be exonerated. Concern was prompted the law was that the existing law was too stringent, that even people who were innocent were not able to exonerate. And the bill actually allows the Attorney General, if they have information to bring forth showing the innocence. Normally it's been the guilt that they could only show. Mm-hmm. So, it just was amazing to me because we always hear about all these laws that kind of keep you in the system.
Right.
And I just want to commend Ken Cuccinelli for actually doing what we elected him to do.
We applaud you. Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely.
Because it's so rare.
Yeah.
And we need to stay, abreast of these type of things so we'll know who to vote for.
Speaking of voting,
mm-hmm.
I was so proud of us.
Absolutely.
The way we came out and supported Barack Obama. He was a wonderful president. He still is a wonderful president. And I was so glad to see our people, especially young people. Like, I was in line, even though I was in a very long line. I'm not going to complain because it got the results we wanted. I live in an area not too far from Virginia State. And those students from Virginia State were out there in droves. I was just so proud. I was really so proud to see so many young people out there doing their thing and voting, which brings us to this bill.
Exactly.
We need to do the same thing.
Exactly. And that's what I wanted to bring up Because I think a lot of times we always rally for the president, whether it's Obama, we did it for Clinton.
Right.
We did it to keep Bush out, even though he got reelected.
Yeah.
But I want to see us rally for those local officials, because those are the people who are going to affect us. That's who's going to dictate what happens here in Virginia.
Right.
So I want to know what the audience thinks, because I don't think a lot of people even think about their local officials.
And I'm probably guilty of that as well.
Me too.
I mean,
and I vote, but a lot of times it's the last minute and I'm looking
Yes.
online trying to figure out who I want to vote for, because, you know, my dad just engraved in me that you have to vote.
all the time. I
But
know.
whether or not I'm actually voting for the correct official,
Right.
you know, I'm one of those people that usually tend to lean to the right, so I usually vote Democratic.
Right.
But that's not always the case. That's not always who you need to vote for. I think we really need to start looking at who's doing what to make sure we're not just putting someone in office just
Right.
because they just happen to be a Democrat.
I'm laughing because she got me dead on.
Because it's me. I think it's most of us, though.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
even Republicans do it. You know, your parents voted Republican, you grew up and you just automatically, you know, that's what you vote. But I really want to know how everyone else feels. Is it just us?
Right.
You know, or, you know, what do you think, guys? Is this something we need to start doing differently? We need to discuss more?
Absolutely. And we're going to flash that number up on the screen in just a moment, because, of course, we want your calls and comments. Let us know. Are you just like us? Do you just kind of tend to vote for your party that you normally vote for and not really being aware of what their stances are on different topics? Thank you for calling. You're on the couch with Kimberly.
How you doing, Kim? Nice to see you show again, dog.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm doing well.
My interest was, do you think that we pay enough attention to midterm elections?
No. I can tell you absolutely not.
And I think we
'cause
should.
we like to say that the people are stopping Obama from doing this, but it's our lack of participation sometimes in midterm elections that give people the seats to vote against whatever president that we want to get something done. So I was thinking that maybe the people need to focus more on showing up in midterm elections like they do in presidential elections.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right. Bye-bye. He's absolutely correct.
Exactly. And I don't think we think about that. You know, we put the president in, but he can't do anything if he doesn't have enough votes for it.
Right.
So if we're not coming out for those midterm elections, then nothing's going to ever change with it.
Mm-hmm. And local officials as well.
Yeah.
Knowing what the topics are, number one.
Exactly.
And just how they feel about it, what their vote is on that topic. So I think we need to do more about just getting more involved in the process, period, of voting and being aware of what's going on.
Yes.
Give us calls. There's the number, 915-5202. We'd like to hear what you think.
And also to kind of piggyback on that one, my next topic I wanted to bring up was actually about the drug testing for welfare. Because that's another bill. That's actually a law that they're trying to pass on the federal level.
Right.
And basically what's going on is they're doing a welfare, it's called the Welfare Integrity Act. And what it would do is, in order to get any welfare benefits, you would actually have to sign a waiver. What the waiver would do would be you submitting to a random drug test. How do you feel about it? A lot of people are saying that it's, how did they put it? It's actually unconstitutional and mean-spirited, and it actually does, to a certain extent, go against the unreasonable search that you have the option, or you're protected against in the Constitution. So that's kind of why they're doing the waiver, because you have to waive your right against the Constitution.
Oh,
yes, because
okay.
it's already gone up once and it didn't pass, so they've tweaked it to try to kind of get over on that one. But what they're saying is basically, if you don't sign the waiver,
then you
won't
don't get
qualify for
benefits.
the benefits.
Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah. And I guess I look at it as when I go to apply for a job, you're going to drug test me. If I say I don't want to be drug tested, you're probably not going to give me the job. So really, what's the difference, though?
Well, that's true. That's true. But isn't that what the Constitution is for? To protect us against, certain acts by government?
And that is correct. I do understand that. So, and I think that's kind of where it's, because I think a lot of people honestly want it passed. But then you're right. If we start giving up those rights, where does it stop?
Where does it stop? Then they start monitoring what you can say. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They don't want to stop rappers from saying those words that they say in their musical lyrics. So I think it falls within the same category, if you ask me.
It does. It does. And that's probably why it's going to be hard for it to pass, even though I think some states have already kind of jumped on board with it. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably not going to hit the federal level, if you ask me. I think it's going to be state by state. But then that goes back to making sure you put in office who you think is going to benefit you.
Serve you the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. In a way, though, it's kind of a double-edged sword when you're talking about this particular topic to me. And I say that because I think about, let's say, 15 years ago when drugs were like really, really rampant. And I've witnessed poor little children being hungry.
Exactly.
And their moms get plenty of food stamps and nothing was in the refrigerator but some baking soda and maybe some water. And it was just really, really sad. I mean, and or they needed clothes for school and the money was coming in the house, but as fast as it was coming in, it was going out. So, and it wasn't being spent on the kids. But who's to say the money going to be spent on the kids either way? I mean.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I think it should be more of a, I think it's good to drug test because like you said, it will help us find out who could possibly not be using the money for the correct thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it should just be, you don't get anything. I feel like with drugs, let's try to help them.
That's a good idea.
Okay, if they fail a drug test the first time, let's put them in some type of, program. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Now, if every time we drug test you, if we put you in, 2 or 3 or even, let's say 2 programs, or even the first program, then let's figure out what else we can do. Because honestly, depending on what drug is showing up in the system, because they know what drug is showing up in your system, that should, social services might need to come in depending on what drug is in your system. Right. Because, how is that affecting your children? What is going on? And not even necessarily take the children, but let's monitor to find out what is going on in the household because they may need to take the children. Right. Because you do have those people who spend their money on something else. So I don't think it should just be a hard nose, let's cut them off.
It can't be black and white.
Exactly. It has to be on a case by case, and I think it should be room for that. But I think the drug testing will at least start a conversation that we try not to have.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I know you guys have some opinions about this, so please give us a call. Let us know what you think. The more we talk about it, the more intelligent we'll be about it going forward. So let us know what you think about drug testing for social service benefits. How about that?
Yeah, right? That should be a hot topic.
That should be a hot topic. I'm surprised that this phone is not ringing off the hook right now. But that's all right. We're going to keep on going. We'll give you some more things to call in about, okay? Was there anything else you wanted to cover?
Let's go ahead on and see what else we got. I think they're kind of
mulling it over a little bit.
Yeah.
Deciding which road to take. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, this story I found was really, really interesting, and I thought it was funny because I always pay attention to what people do when you go out, like go out to eat or go out to have drinks, or just people's habits as far as how they treat the person doing the serving. Okay, so this was a story about a delivery guy. It says here on Tuesday, we're going to name him James, uploaded a photo of a receipt for a pizza delivery that included 85 pizzas. Now, the 85 pizzas came to a grand total of $1,453. So James was thinking that he was supposed to get 20% of the tab, which is normally what you do at a restaurant, right? Or for a delivery person. When somebody delivers me food, I know I tip them 20%. Unless they took a long time, then it might be 15. But,
Right.
but anyways, he thought he should get 20% of that total. Well, what he got was a grand total of $10. Needless to say, James was very unhappy with his tip. And I think he shared it, the information on, over the internet, just to find out what other people thought about it. And people agreed that James got the short end of the stick. What do you think?
Now, see, I think I'm kind of in between with that one. And this is why. First of all, the 20% is for waitresses because they make
so little.
So little. You know,
So
they
does
don't even
delivery
make,
people, though. They don't make a lot of money.
a lot of delivery people make more than you think. When you see those little signs, pay attention because some of them make $15 an hour.
What?
Look at the little signs. Like they'll say $10 an hour. It'll tell you because they're delivering. And, it may be because they might be using their gas. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
But they're not making the $2 an hour that a waitress is making.
Well, honey, if they making $15 an hour, I'm in the wrong profession. Let me go get me a job as a pizza delivery.
Even if they're making 10 though,
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
You're making $10 an hour and all you're doing is delivering. So I think he should have gotten more than 10 because he had to take those boxes out.
Yeah.
But 20%, I probably don't tip 20% and I'm sorry. That's just me. I definitely tip my waitresses 20.
Okay.
And even over 20 a lot of times. But delivery person, I might tip you $5, $6. I don't tip a lot because you're making.
Well, $5 or $6 could be 20% depending on how much your bill
and
is.
it could be, I guess. But, I don't even think about it, though. It's not like I'm thinking when you get a waitress, you do think, okay, what's,
her 20%.
What's her 20%? The delivery person, you'll get whatever I have left over. You might even just get, let's say if I give you an even number, whatever's left, that might be what you get because you're making probably a little more than that person standing behind the register or even that person that had to cook those 8 pizzas.
Really?
Yeah, I think
I
they
need
make
to do
more.
my research on that one.
And maybe
'cause
we
I
need to
didn't
find
think
out because
so.
when I look at those signs, it tells you when you ride past like a Pizza Hut, it'll say hiring some for delivery.
And it tells you how much they
It
make?
usually tells you how much they make.
Well, I'm going to check it out. I wish somebody was a delivery person that would
Let us
call
know.
in right now and tell me if you making good money or not.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
Because
tipping
even
my
if you're making $9 an hour, it's people doing a lot harder jobs than driving around making $9 an hour.
Okay. But hold on. Let's give the delivery people a little bit of credit. Now, they have a dangerous job.
They do.
Delivery people have a dangerous job. What if you deliver to somewhere and a lot of people I've heard of this. People call them to somewhere
Just take their money.
to take their money. And I mean, so you don't know if you're going to go and get your head banged in.
But these days, there's a lot of jobs. The convenience store person that makes $8 an hour,
They're in danger.
they're in danger. The 7-Eleven girl that might make $7.50, she's definitely in danger because they stand open all night. There's, and I'm not taking anything away from it because Lord knows I wouldn't even deliver to half the places, but a lot of times now they're not delivering to the worst places. When stuff happens, they take you off of that list. Your area, I know my area, I can't get delivery.
Really?
Girl, no, I can't get delivery. And that's how I used to decide where I wanted to move to, because if you call the local pizza place and you give them your address and they say, oh, we don't deliver there,
Then you know.
I mean, that's one of your signs.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, just something to think about, something that makes you go,
Right?
Being a delivery person, you got to think about that there is a danger there. They have gas expenses.
They do. That they can write off on their taxes.
Well, that's true. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to do it. That's all I got to say.
I wouldn't. And I think he should have gotten more just because he had to worry about, toting around those 85 boxes.
85 pizzas.
I wonder how many times he had to go to that car.
Boy.
So, he absolutely should have in that case. But I think when it comes to the whole what to tip and who to tip and, because I've been to places like, Golden Corral, and I get my own food at Golden Corral. You can set up a place for me to get my drinks, and I can get my own drinks. I'm getting my own food.
And what does that mean, though? What are you saying?
You have to tip the waitress. It's a waitress that comes around and gives you your refill.
Yeah, they clean off the table and give you your refills. Yeah.
I'm tipping her 20%, and I'm walking around getting my own food. Maybe it's just me.
Well, I just thought that was typical. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, for me, why am I getting my own food? Let me tell you what I want, and you walk around and earn this 20%.
Well, I think I feel the way I feel because when I was really little, for a while, my mother was a waitress.
Okay.
And so she ingrained in me, like, over and over and over again, you always tip. I don't care what. I don't even care if they give you bad service. You still tip.
You tip for bad service?
I'm telling you what my mama said. She said, I don't care if they was mean or whatever. Maybe they wouldn't get such a big tip, but they still got to get some kind of tip.
Okay.
And by her standard, 15% is small.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think I would feel bad if I didn't tip the person, like, according to what my bill was.
If I get bad service, I'm not tipping you. But you already know by my attitude, by the time that bill comes, that you're probably not going to get a tip. If I don't talk to your manager, you're probably doing good. Because I worked in customer service. Now, I'll tip big, not a problem. But I worked in customer service, and I get upset when a person doesn't have those people skills.
Yeah.
When you come to my table and you kind of got an attitude and, I'm happy and you've kind of just messed up my happiness.
You done rained on her parade.
Yeah. Or you keep getting stuff wrong, or you're taking all day, there's a lot. I won't tip at all for bad service, but I will call your manager. So if I didn't call your manager over and have a conversation with him, you're probably doing okay.
How do you guys feel about tipping? Like, what's your standard? Is there a certain percentage, just whatever changes in your purse or in your pocket? I mean, tell me, how do you do with tipping? Would I want to be your waitress or not?
No. But I feel like waitresses should make more. I don't believe that anybody should make less than minimum wage, which is only $7.50 now.
Yes.
I feel like it's demeaning to even have someone.
Yeah,
do
how can you
anything.
make $2.50 an hour? What is that?
I think that's something that absolutely needs to change, because that's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely. Yeah.
What?
And I understand they get tips. But
well, probably unless they're at Hooters. I wouldn't think tips would be that great, because I've heard, look, that their tips get divvied up amongst other employees, like the bus boy. The bus boy, yeah.
Okay. And I think it depends on where you work, because I did financial aid. So, I went over people. I actually had a girl who worked at a restaurant, and she made so much that she didn't qualify. She was single, no kids. She didn't qualify for
financial aid,
for the Pell and all of that, because she made too much. Yeah. So I think
she work at Hooters?
No, but she did work on a really nice restaurant on the West End.
Oh.
And
upscale.
It was.
Okay.
And I even had a guy who worked with us, and he did bartending for another nice restaurant, and he talked about how he made great money.
Oh yeah.
And he didn't even leave them when he came to work with us, and he he made more than even I made in financial aid. He was over in a different department. He made more. He still worked that job part-time because he said he didn't want to give up the money. Yeah. So depending on where you work, it can be good money.
Okay. Wow.
But that's not everywhere. That's that's those restaurants.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Not the majority.
Not the majority, I don't think.
No.
But that's something else you guys can call in if you're, if you work in that profession, and
let us know. Yeah.
because we might be mistaken. We might need to change professions.
Really?
I can bartend. I can't, carry around the plates because everything's going to drop. They're going to take it out of my money. I'm never going to get a check.
Right.
But I can bartend for you. I can make your drinks.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Might take you up on that, girl. Okay. That was just one of our stories. Let's see what else we got going on. We want to hear, let's talk about this one. 15-year-old arrested in a weekend shooting of a teen in Richmond. Okay, we're going to talk about this one because just black on black crime to me is it unsettles my soul. I'm going to tell you the truth. And young people like going out to party, and then the next thing you know, somebody's gotten shot, somebody's gotten stabbed. I don't understand it, but I'm hoping that things will change.
Yeah, it's really scary, especially as a parent. I think me and you both, we've gotten to that age where we're not as fearful when we go out.
Right.
But now it's okay, my child is getting, even though my son's young, and yours is probably closer to the age.
Well, I have a 18-year-old.
Yeah,
so he's in that age range.
Exactly.
Where things get a little crazy.
Exactly. And it's scary to think that you can go to even, there were a lot of shootings going down, or, near the Shockoe Bottom. They can go to a regular club. And when I was that age, I partied down there. And that was a safe place to go to.
Yeah.
That was an area where, you felt comfortable. You saw the policemen. You knew, you were okay.
But there's still police down there.
There are, which is amazing to me. I don't understand.
The police are still very visible there, but doesn't seem to stop the
And that's the scarier part, that, they don't care. It's to the, what's going on. And I think that's something that we definitely need to start talking to our kids about. I know Richmond does a lot of forums, and Virginia does a lot of forums. And I think we need to get more involved in that.
Absolutely.
When they have the women's, the teens, and the little boys and all of that, because something has to change.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I want to share this story a little bit. We're going to talk about it. It says the Richmond area's U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force has arrested a 15-year-old boy in the shooting of another teenager over the weekend. The suspect, who was not identified, was arrested Monday and charged with attempted murder, aggravated malicious wounding, use of a firearm in a felony, and possession of a firearm by a juvenile. Now, he got about 4 charges.
Yeah.
The charges stem from a shooting on Saturday night that wounded a 16-year-old male in the 1100 block of Decatur Street in South Richmond. The victim was walking home from a large teen party when he was shot. The suspect and victim had attended the party and had exchanged words prior to the shooting. The victim remains hospitalized with multiple gunshot wounds. The police are asking parents of teenagers to ask their children questions about the teen parties that they attend, including who will be attending, who will be supervising, and whether there will be security. Officials say parents with questions about teen parties can contact the police, and the number is 804-646-4069. I just wanted to put that information out there, that there are numbers you can call. Check out where your kids are going.
Yeah.
Who they going to be with.
And what happened to picking the kids up? 15, you can't drive. Like, how close did that person live? Why is everybody walking around?
Exactly.
What happened to the parents dropping you off and you better be
picking
at the
you
car?
up by a certain time?
Yeah, you have to be at this car. And just to think a 15-year-old with a gun, and I know it happens all the time, but that's young.
That's very young.
That's young. And then, why all these kids just running the street in the middle of the night? Parents, what's going on? I know I'm overprotective, but why is everybody running the street? Right. Even when I couldn't go to the teen parties.
You didn't go to the teen parties?
Oh, my mom listen, Petersburg had a teen club on the good side of town when I was young, and my mom said, oh, okay, where do you want to go? And I said, oh, there's a teen club right down the street. And she said, oh, no, you're not going. And I'm like, why not? My best friend had her mom go up to the place, talk to the security, talk to the owners. They had like completely checked the place out. She said, oh, if it has club on it, you're not supposed to be there.
Oh.
Yeah, she said, I don't care what the beginning part says. The end of it says club and you're not going. And that was it.
That was good enough for mama.
Yeah, that was it. So I never went to the teen club, but but your parents dropped you off.
Right.
Even the bowling alley, that used to be the thing, or the skating
Well, we went
rink.
to Skateland.
Yeah, the skating rink. Your parents dropped you off. The mall.
Yeah.
Your parents dropped you off and they picked you up.
At a certain time, yeah.
Why are these kids running the streets?
Right.
And if we're there that close, and maybe they live close to the place, so maybe they were just walking home. But everybody lives close.
Right.
It just, something's missing somewhere.
Something's missing. I think when children become teenagers, like when they start getting that little free range a little bit, that's the time when things get out of control.
Yeah, that's probably the time we need to pay more attention
to them and start, holding on a little bit more instead of letting them go.
And I think what happens, we give them a little more freedom and a little more this and a little more. And I can understand for some people that's like, okay, I've spent 15 years hovering over my child. Now I have a little extra time. Let me do me.
Yeah.
You got a couple of more years to go, though.
That's true. That's
a couple more years to go.
Absolutely. I know I'm going to keep my eyes on mine until they can move out on their own.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
Right.
But again, what do you guys think?
What do you think? Give us a call. Let us know. Okay.
Been real quiet tonight.
Yeah, you were quiet. Give us a call. You got to talk to us. All right. Let's see. All right. So let's do something on a little bit of a positive note, because I don't want all this information that I share with you to be on the negative. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some good stuff, because we got good things going on too. Hopewell. Let's see. Students in 4th through the 10th grade will soon see a change to the way family life is taught in the classroom. Betty Ware, the supervisor of career and technical education, health and physical education, and fine arts, said the changes, which will be implemented in the spring, will help educate the students on sensitive topics such as HIV and AIDS, pregnancy prevention, and sexually transmitted diseases. Ware said the Crater Health District approached her with a curriculum aimed at teaching to the sensitive topics and also resources to aid in these lessons. In an effort to give our kids a little more knowledge, they convinced me that it was something we might want to try in Hopewell. I am so glad to see that they are now, kind of focusing their efforts on prevention
and not abstinence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Abstinence would be
wonderful.
It would. But let's be real.
Yeah.
Sex is going on, and if they're not doing it yet, they probably will be doing it soon.
Yeah.
So we need to teach them. I know I wouldn't want to be on the negative side of that, and either they come up with, a disease, especially like HIV or AIDS, or how would you like for your son to come home and say, Mom, my girlfriend's pregnant?
And that's a mom's worst fear.
Yes, it is.
It's like, and it always seems to happen right before they graduate. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's great because, like you said, we've always been taught abstinence, and especially for the girls. I remember we had the programs where, all the girls would, sign their little pledges, and they wear their little shirts and they do their little stuff. But a lot of times the girls in those programs were isolated. They were kind of looked upon differently, and it sometimes even made them more wanting to have sex more so they can stop being stigmatized.
Yeah, feeling like an outcast.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it didn't, to me, help. It hurt a little bit because those might have been the same girls who were quiet enough that could have snuck through without doing anything. Nobody would have noticed. Nobody would have cared. Mm-hmm. But now that you have them in, wearing the same little shirts, everybody's kind of looking at them like, oh, you get uncomfortable.
They the special group.
They're the special ones, yeah. Yeah, and it makes them act out more. So yeah, teach them. I feel like have condoms. To me, have bowls everywhere. Go just pick them up if you feel like you need them. I would rather you have 1 million of them,
right,
and need it than not have any.
Yeah, yeah, and that definitely. I know you guys have opinions on that. Should we or should we not provide condoms?
Yeah.
To students.
Birth control.
Birth control. Information about birth control. See, I knew that would get you calling. I knew that would do it. Thank you for calling. You are on the couch with Kimberly.
Good evening, Kimro. This is actually the first time I'm watching your show, and I love it.
Thank you.
I've never seen this before. I'm not really from this area.
Okay.
I have a question and a point that I would love to hear your feedback on.
Okay.
You guys, I just caught you 5 minutes ago talking about programs and different programs for teens.
Yes.
And there are always programs in the church and in the community, and you'll find parents taking the time out, tired and whatever. It's making sure their kids are participating in a bunch of programs. But I have a teenager myself, and I've kind of taken a lot of time. I've taken time out to just, instead of putting her in a bunch of programs, spending time myself with her, because I don't feel like somebody else can reach my child and pour into my child as well and as effectively as I can as the parent.
Yes.
I like that.
So
yes.
I wanted you to kind of speak on that and just just give me your thoughts on programs with external teachers, coordinators versus just incredible amounts of time parenting.
Okay. All right. Absolutely. I thank you for calling, and we're going to talk about it right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay.
I love that.
I love that. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I think she really said it best, that no outside or external force is going to be as effective as a parent or somebody that's close to you. Grandma.
Yeah. I think it does need to be a balance, though, because every child is going to go through that stage where I love mom. I know in my heart of hearts, mom, dad is correct, but it's coming from mom and dad.
Yes. Oh my God. That is so true.
So I think I absolutely love the fact that she's hands-on, though, because I do think that there are a lot of programs with the church, with sports, and we kind of put them in the programs and we push them in the programs.
Well, we expect that the program is going to do a certain thing.
Yeah, but I think that when I say push them in the program, what I'm saying is we kind of step back. So all we know is that the basketball is doing good, or they're singing, or they're doing the praise dance, and we don't really know what's going on in between the time. And we're not, to me, having enough of those conversations. And that always scares me, because then when something happens, God forbid, somebody's taking them away, and because I'm paranoid, I'm one of those moms.
You're a paranoid mom.
The coach is doing something, has taken pictures, has done something inappropriate. We don't know for years because no one's ever talked about it. We never asked what happened when you went on that overnight trip.
Okay, but hold on. Let me. I'm gonna stop you right there, because this is funny, because this is personal to me. It's funny, but it's not funny. My mother would never let me go anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And I do mean anywhere. I did not get to do Girl Scouts. What else do little girls do? Brownies and all of that kind of stuff. I didn't get to do all that because my mom wasn't going to let me out of her eyesight.
Because she was paranoid like me?
Yeah.
I love your mom. Hi.
She did didn't let me participate in anything. Because she was afraid of like hearing stories about things that happen to children when they go camping, you know, with the branded troop leader and that kind of stuff. But
you feel like you missed out on something?
I feel like I missed out.
But see, that's why it says it has to be that balance, because like I did the brownies, didn't do the Girl Scouts because I didn't want to, but I did the brownies because my mom was the troop leader. She was only the troop leader. Yeah, she was only the troop leader because she wanted me to do the brownies. So it's like I wanted to do the brownies, but I want to keep that eye on her. So that's why I say you have to have that balance. Even if you let your kids, because I did go to camp. Now I'm not going to lie. I went to camp my senior year though, where everybody else at the camp had been going for, you know, since they were little.
Yeah.
When I went to camp my first year, I was a counselor because I was so old.
At least you got to go, girl.
But I did get to go, you know, but I was definitely old enough that, you know, she wasn't worried about anything happening
to you.
Yeah. But I think it's the balance. If you have them go, you know, maybe go on the first couple of trips so you can see what's going on. And if your child's in any type of program where they said the parents can't come in and can't do stuff.
Oh, if the parents are not welcome, then you don't want to send them there.
You know, if you got to go away to camp and I can't come and visit, or, you know, I can't pop up because I'm one of those parents, I want to pop up. If I can't just pop up on you, can't do it. Yeah,
that's how I chose all my like daycares or after school activities and programs like that. But to address the caller, I love that there are more programs now available for the kids because you need something. I mean, let's say mom's at work and she doesn't get home until 6 o'clock and you get home at 3 o'clock. There needs to be something there in the meantime because we don't want the kids just finding something to do because that can lead to problems.
Exactly. So I think they do need that interaction, but I love the fact that
she's so hands-on.
Yeah. We need more hands-on parents.
Because there's no replacement.
Exactly.
For a parent being there, you know, wanting to be there with you along the way. And giving you advice and talking to you. Even though you're going to rebel.
Exactly.
Because you were right. I know I did. Okay, let's see what our caller has to say. You are on the couch with Kimberly.
Yeah, hey Kim, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay, you talking about children today?
Yes.
Children today is another situation as children when we came up. Children has to have an army to take care of them.
Yes, they do.
They're so outspoken. I raised 2 of my grandchildren, and I had to get rid of them at 16 and 17 years old. I was afraid to talk back to my grandmother, afraid to talk back to my mother. But you know what? These children are not afraid to talk back to you. They'll hit you.
Oh.
Wow.
And so that is not good.
At all.
So I think it's another milk that was served or something that had these children to come out and act like they're acting.
Right? Yeah.
And so I would like to comment on your topic on the couch.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, she's right.
Yeah. The children,
they're different.
And I think it's because, you know, when we grew up, it was expected that if you did something wrong, you were going to get beat. You know, something was going to happen to you.
You was going to get a spanking.
Several times. Depending, you know, because mama might do it, grandma might do it. And Lord, don't talk back to grandma because every aunt, uncle walk in the house might hit you. And it might be weeks later and they heard, you know, it's just my first time seeing you.
Right.
I know you hit her 2 weeks ago.
But that's okay.
But now it's like, you know, you can't do anything to me. They have that
That's
attitude.
the problem. Hold on. We're going to freeze frame right there. That is the problem.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to spank the kids anymore. But so they say. But let me tell you something. What you call it? Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Absolutely.
There were never truer words spoken, ever. And for these people that say, you know, I don't believe in spankings. I believe in timeout. Okay.
Timeout. I did both. I like timeout. It worked.
Honey, timeout ain't worked for me at all.
Timeout worked. And I will say, and it's funny because I would babysit other people's children, but timeout only works if your child is afraid of you. So you have to have, because
my child was afraid because they know I was going to tear that butt up.
see, so timeout would have worked. Because if a child, because they have to be, children like attention. So if you put them, and I would do stuff like, cut the TV on, put you in a corner right beside the TV so you can hear it and can't see it, because we all know that's frustrating. Like, think about if your tube goes out and you can hear the TV and you can't see it and you really want to see what they're doing. Put you right beside the TV so you can hear it, can't see it, and make you stand there. So now you're mad because you're standing up, you can hear it, you can't see it, you really want to know what's going on, and it's just frustrating. But you have, and now I didn't spoil the child.
Spare the rod. You ain't spare the rod?
No, but I did do timeout, and I would do timeout to other people, go in the bathroom, shut the door. I did timeout, and it worked.
You like timeout?
I like timeout.
Timeout seems like a silly concept to me.
I love timeout.
It just really just seems so silly.
And I even had one of my girlfriend's children. Love him to death, but he could be a handful. And, so his timeout had to be the bathroom because I needed him to be in a closed space by himself because he needed to calm down. And he opened that door and I was standing right there. And he went back in that room and he cried and he fussed and he cried and he fussed, but he stayed in that room. When he calmed down, he probably sat there it got quiet for a good 10 minutes, and he came out and he said, "Miss Kenya, can I go downstairs now?" I ain't had no more problems out of that boy.
You know what? I'm going to take it back. I didn't call it timeout. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I was doing it.
It was punishment.
Kinda, but my youngest son had a real bad attitude. When he got mad, he was like uncontrollable, crazy. Normally he's calm and cool, just the sweetest little thing you ever want to see. But when he get mad, he get real mad. So I would just make him go in his room because what might come out his mouth would be anything.
Exactly.
And it just would be enough to trigger me and get me crazy too. So I would make him go in his room for a little bit when I knew he was at that level of anger. Yeah, so I didn't call it timeout necessarily, but I would just say, you go in your room and calm down and come out when you can talk to me, rationally, like you got some sense. So he would go in there for maybe about 15 minutes. And then come out and say he's sorry. So I guess that was timeout. I just didn't call it timeout.
And see, when we think of timeout, we think of putting you in a
corner. In a corner, standing in the corner looking at the wall.
I did the corner too. But
But sometimes
I did the corner because I want to see you and make sure you're not, because I don't want you to do anything. I don't want you to, because my child can, I love my baby. He's imaginative. So, if I put him in a room by himself, he happy. I could put him in a room with no sheets, no nothing, and he'll find a pencil on the floor.
Entertain himself.
And he's good. So I needed to see him to make sure that you're doing nothing but staring at that wall.
That's because we were doing it for different reasons. See, you were doing it as a punishment. I was doing it to let him calm down.
Okay. Now, see, it was the other people kids that I did the calm down part. Yeah. My son was already calm. He calm.
Okay. Well, what do you think about that? Do you think that, spanking should not be done? Because I know some people just totally are against it and, think it's the worst thing on this planet. I saw on TV one day, I don't know what it was I was looking at, but the guy said it was a talk show where the mom had admitted that she had smacked her kid in the mouth. The kid had said something. I don't know if he cussed or what was said, but she said, "Yeah, I smacked him in the mouth, and I'll do it again." So, but the talk show host
was offended.
Was very offended.
I'm sure he was.
Very offended. I mean, like he was ready to call the SWAT team. Yeah. Because she had popped the kid in the mouth, and I'm like, if something wrong come out his mouth, then he needed to be popped in the mouth. So, what do you think about that? Do you think it's like a criminal offense to pop your kid? Now, I ain't saying leave no marks or no scars or no nothing where, you know, I ain't saying abuse, because there is a line between a spank in the butt
But she said she
and
did
abuse.
a pop.
She did a
didn't say
pop.
punch.
A pop is
and
a
punch,
pop you in the mouth.
Yeah, or backhand real quick.
Yeah.
That, you know, she didn't say she closed her fist
No,
up, drew
no,
back.
she said she popped him
She
in the
didn't
mouth.
turn into the bus driver.
No, she didn't bust driver on him. No, she popped him in the mouth.
Yeah. And I could see, especially if you curse at me. Yeah, I could definitely see it.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And I'm sure he won't curse again.
Well, they used to make you hold a bar of soap in your mouth, which I
Did you ever have to do that?
no, no, my mother would never.
Now, see, I've heard of that.
Yeah, that was some grandmas I think used to do to you. That was the old school way. But I wouldn't do that because that might make my baby sick.
Exactly.
He been throwing up. Then I got to go to the emergency room. That's too much. That's too much. One good pop would have solved the whole problem. Yeah. So
my cousin had a paddle, and her mom had it engraved.
Ooh.
And it said the heat.
The heat, and
it had her name for her seat.
The heat for your seat.
Yeah.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah. I doubt if they ever used. She was spoiled. I don't think they ever used it.
It was just for.
It looked good though. It looked like, ooh, girl, you gonna get beat.
You gonna get the heat.
Yeah. The heat for your seat. I doubt if she ever got it. I think it was used on my male cousins, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I agree. You need some heat, okay?
Because you have to, I think kids need a certain amount of fear.
They do. They do. And the ones who don't seem to have any fear at all, like of their parents, like as they're growing up, by the time they reach them teen years, anything goes.
Yeah. Those are the ones hitting you.
Like,
I don't have
like
any...
the caller just said, she had to get rid of her grandkids because they were so out of control. Yeah, they'll hit you. They'll hit you, kick you, push you down, and cuss you out, spit on you, and some more.
Yeah.
So if you don't discipline them when they're little, and I started early. When mine started walking, that's when the spankings commenced, okay? At least with a tap on your hand to say don't touch something. If they was going towards something that I know was wrong. Yeah, I will smack your hand. And yeah, I'm going to smack it hard enough to make you cry. Because I want you to remember not to do it again.
Exactly. And I think that's good. That's what you should do. And I don't understand why people get so offended. Because it's the same thing of, I don't want to steal because I don't want to go to jail. Right. It's consequences. Yeah. So it's just a different form. And I guess my question, I want to talk to the people who don't spank.
Please call us.
What is your consequence for your child? What do you do to deter them from doing certain things?
You know who I would really like to talk to is the ones who did not discipline their child and now their child is a teenager.
Yeah.
Those are the people I want to hear from.
Yeah.
Because I want to know what type of child did he grow up to be.
Yeah. Right? What are you dealing with?
Yeah, what are you dealing with today? And
we may be wrong. Maybe,
maybe they grew up just fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I do know, I've heard of people who fight their parents and want to hit their parents and kick their mama down, especially a single mother. Single mothers catch it when they do not discipline them children. Yeah. When a child grows up to be a teenager, boy, do they get it. The parent I'm talking about.
And not even just single parents. I think I saw this a lot growing up with those moms who let the father do all the disciplining.
Well, my daddy did all the discipline.
Yeah, but what happens when something happens in the household and daddy leaves the household? Now you've never disciplined that child and daddy's not here anymore, whether daddy's in the army.
Well, then the mama would just have to take over that role.
No, because now your child's older. Now he's never had to respect you. You've never done anything.
I don't think that would be a problem. I'm going to tell you why. Both of my parents were in the household the whole time, right? My daddy was a disciplinarian. Mama didn't spank nobody. Well, she spanked me one time and she cried more than I did because she was spanking me. But my father taught us both that you don't disrespect your mama. If you even look like you about to get smart with your mama, daddy will come and bring the noise, okay? So I have a brother, an older brother, and till this day, he will not talk smart or raise his voice to my mom. He would not put his hands on me. I don't care how mad I make him. I can anger him to the point of wanting to kill somebody. He will not touch me because my daddy ingrained in him, you don't put your hands on your sister. You don't raise your voice to your mother. You know, you don't disrespect women. Those things stay with you. If you were really taught it, they stay with you.
Only if dad stays around, though.
Well, that's true.
What happens if dad
Is
and
gone.
mom
Split up.
You know, a lot of times when people split up, especially with the men, they go their separate ways. If dad's out of the system, now who's disciplining? Who's reinforcing that? Because you always need reinforcement.
I don't know. That's one of those things that you think about. Makes you go, yeah. Well, I'm not sure. How do you deal with a situation like that? I was always a disciplinarian with my kids. When Dad was there, he ain't do no disciplining. So that was always my job. So when we separated, it was easy for me to continue, you know, because I had been doing it all the time.
And see, I've always been a single mom. So I've always been a disciplinarian, and I'm probably have always been stricter than his father. I remember the first real beating my son had, and I don't know if his dad had some type of sense. He called and he's like, "Oh, I'm coming to visit today," and I didn't tell him he was in trouble. I waited till he crossed that threshold and he walked into my house, and I said, "Your son's in trouble. You gotta go beat him." He was like, "Well, I know you beat him." I did, and now you go beat him. He needs to see that both of us.
I know that's right.
So he got those 2 beatings, and you know we didn't have to do too many more of those. But yeah, I'm definitely the
Disciplinarian.
I'm the authority. I'm the beginning and the end. But don't tell his daddy. I think he thinks he's the beginning and the end.
Of course he does. Of course he does. Well, what do you think about that? That's just something else for you to think about. Disciplining. Should we discipline? Should we not discipline? What are some of the other things we've covered?
We've covered a lot today.
Programs in
program
schools.
for the children.
Yes.
We did the laws, the voting, the drug testing for the welfare.
Drug testing for welfare. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah. And our teens and parties and things like that. So we've given you some good things to think about. Join us again next week. We were not here last week due to the bad weather, but unless, you know, we have a Holocaust next week, we will be back next Wednesday. Check us out from 7:30 to 8:30 each Wednesday. Myself, Kimberly Rose, and
Kenya
Mays. See us next week.
Absolutely. And we need you to call in.
Call in, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.
Absolutely.
Love you.